All right, am I getting cut off on the top of the head? No, okay. Oh, wait, everyone just heard me say that? Hello, everyone. As always, I'm expecting we've got about 10 or 12 people in the Twitch room watching our Fireside Chat, and I would just like to start off with, or actually Fireside. So mainly that is answering all the questions and topics. I think Oboe, Lauren, Oboe Crazy, just every week, our first question, are you going to be next to a fireside? Will you be wearing a smoking jacket? Do you have a snifter of brandy? And where's your pipe? So, fireplace check, smoking jacket, I tried, too little too late, but I tried to class it up a little bit. And brandy and pipe are for next month. Just a random bit of info. Next month, First Friday falls pretty much right like a day before my birthday. So if we're going to celebrate with brandy and break all the rules here at Wizards and smoke and have a pipe and cherry tobacco, then cherry wood, I don't know what they put in pipes, then let's do it for that, celebrate my birthday proper. But for everyone who is watching, thank you. I don't know if monthly is the right amount for these, but Bart's got me signed up for First Fridays to do a fireside chat. And as you know, the goal in this is for me to talk about stuff directly with you guys that is interesting to you, or kind of give you some insights as to what's going on, pull the curtain back a little, and just sometimes answer questions and give away stuff. Obviously, the giveaway stuff is why most of you join. So we'll give away something. Pelham asked if we were doing giveaways. I said yes. He said what? I said I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I got a long list of things to talk about from the community. So I'm going to start with my number one here. Shelly Mazanoble asked online if I knew that it was the release date today for Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. And yes, Shelly, I am well aware that your big project is shipping today. I've played it. I love it. I'm obviously paid to say this, that you guys should all go buy it and play it, but it's really fun. If you haven't played Betrayal at House on the Hill, you should. You should get that. It's an awesome game. But you don't have to play Betrayal to love Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. It's a standalone game. It works whatever your knowledge of D&D or Betrayal is. It's just a fun co-op strategy game where someone becomes the traitor at the end. It's fun. It's actually one of my favorite games and franchises, or board game series is the Betrayal series because of the mechanics. So yes, even though Shelly's taking the day off today to go to Legoland and play with Quinn and Bart Carroll, the Betrayal at Baldur's Gate should be hitting all your stores, should be out today. Go pick up a copy. If you can't find it, then let me know online and we will help you find where has it. But it should be far and wide. We laid down a pretty healthy chunk. People are pretty excited about it, and it's really good. So that's number one. Number two on my list, and I'm not going in any order of importance, Xanathar's impact on 5e. And I apologize. Normally I like to call out who mentioned these questions, but I think sometimes the questions are being asked by one person, but there's actually lots of people out in the community who have that question. So someone asked if I was worried about Xanathar's Guide to Everything and the impact that it would have on what's making 5e so popular and so great. And so what I hear that question as is complexity. The complexity, adding complexity versus the elegant rules of 5e. So first of all, before I answer that question, I would like to share with you guys that I have this. I'm going to lean in a little. Oh, it's so pretty. So this is a production sample. So we do not have the real official books, although this is real. This is the final. I cannot tell you whether or not Jeremy and Mike and the team have found any mistakes or errors or anything that need to be addressed in production, but I will tell you that we've had this in the shop for a couple weeks, both this and the regular cover. This is so soft and it's shiny, it's so pretty. So we're getting really close to Xanathar's Guide, and I just wanted to show that off because that's one of my favorite parts of this job is all the cool cool stuff I get to play with early. Not trying to make you all jealous, but hopefully I did. But getting back to the question about adding new racial and class features and rules and options, is that taken away from what's so great about 5th edition? And I don't know the answer. I won't pretend that I know the answer 100%. But what I'll tell you is that Mike Merrills and I this is probably one of the biggest topics that we talk about regularly. More so when we were originally starting, more so before we launched 5th edition than talking about it lately. But we do still bring it up quite a bit. It's one of the things that I care most about. I don't pretend to be a game designer. I don't know the math side of it. I couldn't write a story or an adventure, like Adam Lee or those guys in terms of the creativity. Like that's definitely not it. But I do have this very strong opinion on strategies and directions that we take the game and the brand. And for 5e, the ability to easily get in and not just like building complexity for complexity's sake, and having it be a system that is really easily understood. That's one of the most critical things that we're doing. That's one of the most important things we're doing. And when we add these things, when we add options, when we add rules, when we add feats, flavors, backgrounds, everything is meant to be optional, and it's meant to be modular in such a way that if you're a new player coming to Dungeons & Dragons today, you don't need to buy 5 books. Matter of fact, you don't need to buy any books. If you are a new player to Dungeons & Dragons today, go to dndbeyond.com, build a character for free. You want to play it on your phone or on your computer at the table, you don't even need to hit print. But if you like having the character sheet in front of you, hit print. But you don't need to get any books or worry about the add-on rules. The complexity should all layer on as you want. I think about it kind of like I don't want to use any metaphor. They're all going to be clunky or whatnot. But if you think about different cars. I grew up in a family. My dad owned Napa Auto Parts when I was growing up, and we always had a lot of muscle cars and people tuning and fixing and everything. And I was always the guy who just kind of had the stock car. And I like a good car, but when you add a different carburetor on that, you can do that. That's great. But if you don't know why you need the different carburetor, then why would you add it, right? So the rules, I think, are kind of the same way in the sense that we create these options and these things that are really fun to add onto the experience, but only if you want and only if you know what you're doing. So you don't have to do it. But Xanathar's guide, I've read through it. I love it. I think it's outstanding, and I think some of the options and the feats are really good in there, especially for people who've been playing for a couple of years and they want to make a new character based on a character class that they like now, but they want to make some changes. So I don't think it's going to do anything to hurt the kind of elegant rule system that we have. I think the way that they've created them so that they're not mandatory, it doesn't break anything, and it's not going to be overwhelming for anyone. So I'm really excited about it. I think you guys are going to love it. We've shared it with a lot of our people under NDA and designers and storytellers, and they love it too. They think it's an awesome product. So it comes out in November. I hope you guys are all really excited about it, but it's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm going to apologize here for a second. I'm going to try and pop into the chat just to see if we've got any chats or questions or stuff popping up. And first, Pelham's going to remind me how to do this. I do twitch.tv DND/chat.
Twitch.tv/DND.
Twitch.tv/DND, but then do I do chat if I just want the chat thing?
Look it up. Yes, add /chat to the end of that.
All right. So let's pop that up. So I got through a couple of the questions on there. I don't get to see all the chat that happened before, do I? All right. Well, that is broken. With that, I'm going to switch to my next topic, the Tomb of Annihilation dice tin. How many of you guys got it? No. Okay. I can't see you raise your hands. This doesn't work. So I want to talk about the dice tin because this was one of the products that I was really pushing for heavily last year when we were looking at how to support the campaigns and the themes. I really like the fact that we go out with these big stories annually, and I want to make sure that we're doing all the right things to celebrate it and have fun stuff. And I like dice. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's universal on D&D. I mean, I hate the bad dice, the ones that don't roll well, and I get rid of those. But I like buying dice. I always buy new sets. I buy bigger dice, smaller dice. I've got little tiny purple dice that come in a tube that are the tiniest. I buy my 4-year-old daughter dice all the time. So I think just as a hobby, I mean, we kind of love our dice. I think of dice as people who play D&D in kind of two ways. I always use the digital dice rollers as an example. There are some people who are like, no problem, I'll use physical dice or a dice roller. And there are some people who are like, you can have my dice when you pry them from my cold, dead hands. And that's kind of how I think about everyone in terms of dice. Dustzilla asked if we're ever going to see Pelham. Pelham did D&D news last week, and I think we've got a groundswell of people who want to see him next week do D&D news. So yes, you'll see him more. So on dice, I always buy new dice. I think most of us in the hobby love the dice, have our superstitions, have our things that we believe and don't believe on dice. So it was really important to me that we did the dice thing because I thought it was fun and I thought people would like it. However, this was this crew's first attempt at doing one of these custom sets. In the past, most of the dice that we've done have been in starter sets or a little less collector and a little less unique. And so we didn't get it perfect out of the gate. We put out a set that I think is really cool. I think the tin is awesome. I think the tin looks amazing. I think it feels cool. I love the stamp that they did on there and how it works and everything. I think the tin is really great. One of the things we missed, and this is like such a duh moment, like all of us just went, oh, how did we not see that? Fans pointed it out right away. I kind of feel stupid for not thinking of it. I think a lot of us on the team are like, of course. Everyone says, why is there only one D20? Now with advantage and disadvantage, 2 D20s is pretty much the norm. We put the different color D20 from the rest of the set. It would have been awesome and perfect to have another D20 in there that was like the same color as the set, so you had your advantage, disadvantage dice. We hear you. Awesome idea. I promise moving forward we will totally do that right. So that's one thing that we learned. The next thing we learned is we just need to plan more time to get samples and see stuff. The dice color and texture is awesome. It's unique. It's fun. Very specific. We picked it. We love it. We know not everyone will love it exactly, but it was very specific in why we picked it and everything. However, a couple of the dice, especially the D20, they're not quite the weight that I like, and so it's just missing a little bit of that kind of heft that I would want in it. So that is simply a factor of we would get the samples, we would change colors, change factors in the dice, we get the next set of samples back, and we had to pull the trigger because they were all made and packaged and assembled in China. We had to pull the trigger at some point to get them on the shelves in time for Tomb of Annihilation, and I would have rather had like one more set of samples so we came in to just tweak some stuff. So we'll get better every time on just making sure that the quality and specific unique elements of the dice in there are exactly what we want. So it's a little off. The other thing that we have heard is, and this is a very, very fair complaint. I take, our team takes full responsibility. I take full responsibility that this was a mess up. We have images up on the website that are slightly off from what the real product looks like in color, in kind of shine, how much glow there is, just enough to be off-putting if you get the product. And that's fair. That's totally fair. The reason we did it is because we create marketing mock-up images months before we actually have the real products so that we can share it with retailers and distributors, and we put that up on the website. And I don't think we're going to stop doing that. I think what we're going to do is I think we're just going to clearly mark on the website or the images that this is a marketing image and not the final products. And we're going to try and get the final products in as soon as we can and change the picture over and let you know when it's the actual real product. So the key learning there was not like, don't use the marketing image. The key learning is just make sure you guys know, like, hey, this is the marketing image. It might be slightly different, and we'll change and give you we'll give you the real image as soon as we can. The whatchamacallit. So the dice, that's kind of where we're going on the dice. That's kind of one of the learnings there. It came up a lot, so I just want to talk about it. Going through the rest of my list, someone asked about future events for D&D. Hopefully, if you guys are watching this stream, you guys know that we already kind of have a new season of entertainment going on right now. That's pretty much, I think some shows, I know Dice Camera Action is 2 weeks in or 1 week in? 2 weeks in. Going on 3, yeah. So they're 2 weeks in. Girls Guts Glory, they're coming up on their second week. I know that Satine and her Girl Bards have a game coming up that starts on the 17th. So we're right now in the middle of kind of a new season of streams and entertainment, if you will. So in terms of the streams, I think you can expect to see that from us. Check, baby, 1, 2. Technical difficulties? Oh, we're fancy. Is that better? Can you hear me good? Can the world hear me? Audio, fix the audio. Wow, Pastor Gal says, fix the audio in our streams. Okay, that's a good point. We'll talk about that one later. That was not one of my topics, but it can be. Okay, so related to our streams. So we're going to try and just do as much cool new streaming content as we can. We're going to try and do a diversity of content. I love the lore you should know. I love someone getting in a semantics argument with Greg Tito online on, is it lore that I should know if I was paying attention, or is it lore that you want me to know and therefore I should know in the future? Being as how a lot of it is in Jeremy, Chris, Matt, Mike's mind, I'm assuming it means lore we'd like you to know and we think you would like to know and think it's cool, but unless you're a robot, you probably don't know all of it. So you didn't miss much. So I think I'm learning every week too. So we like that. We like the, obviously, Greg keeping up speed on the D&D news. We love all the Dragon Talk stuff. Love when we got special guests on there, giving you access to the team. I know Emmy was on a couple weeks ago. So all that kind of streaming we're going to continue. We've got a great group of streamers, different folks out there, kind of our super fans, our DMs and our streamers that, whether you're Misclicks or Maze Arcana or Roll20 or Lauren Oboe or Rooster Teeth or Mark Holmes and crew, so we've just got a lot of folks that are doing cool streams out there, and we're going to always try and kind of find more, keep it fresh, and keep times different so that if you're in the UK, you've got something to watch. If you're in Australia, you've got something to watch. Bart and I are trying really, really hard to get a couple different language groups going on there to try and get that going a little bit more too. So I don't have anything that's specific on the streams except for to say that we're still growing. This is still what I would call kind of an experimental year with our streams, and we've got really big plans. And we hope you're liking what we're doing so far, and we're going to continue to improve and get better. Also in that question was about cons. What cons are we going to? It's too early to tell for next year. Dirty secret, we're on a fiscal year that matches the calendar. I've submitted the budget for next year, but we don't get confirmation for a little bit. And so we have a preliminary plan of conventions and events that we're going to do next year. But I don't want to share that until we get our final budget, just because you don't want to promise something, everyone gets excited about that one, and it changes. But for the rest of the year, I know Chris Perkins and the Waffle crew are going to be playing a live game down at TwitchCon in October. We got a lot of folks from the team that are going to be at Gamehole Con in November. Related to the Gamehole Con in November, we're also doing our Extra Life charity. So we've got a lot of activities leading up to that. We've got some stuff going on with Magic and D&D right now. But October 3rd and 4th, we're going to be doing just a jam-packed stream of D&D games that are all going towards supporting the Extra Life charity. If you don't know what that charity is, they have an affiliation of children's hospitals around the U.S. and actually some international opportunities to donate as well. And so we're raising money for children's hospitals, and the individual groups or the people might have different ones that they designate for. We've chosen to have a lot of the proceeds go to disaster-struck areas. So I think the D&D ones are really focusing on Houston, Florida, and Puerto Rico children's hospitals, just to try and put the money where the needs are, but still related to the kids. I personally have some strong ties to Florida, And so I've designated my donations going to the Florida Children's Hospital System. But really good opportunity to watch Mike Merrills, Chris Perkins, Chris Lindsay, Sean Wood, Satine and Rudy, lots of folks from Gamehole Con, lots of folks from Wizards. I think Emmy's playing, I think she's even playing a new character build that's from Xanathar's Guide. So everyone's jumping in there. So that's an event that's coming up that's going to be pretty cool. That kind of relates to one of the other questions too. Are we doing any special stuff? And what I'll tell you is we're always trying to find special stuff. I'm going to try and get the team to do one more big game event that is fun and different and live stream that gets all the people working on my team playing in something that's kind of special that we do for Twitch audience. It's very user or community engaging, so that you guys can be a part of it too. So we're going to try and get that done sometime before the end of the year, and we go on holiday break. And then we're trying to get one more Force Grey live special game in there for the year, similar how we did last year at the Live from the Egyptian. So that is not concrete yet, but I'd say we're like 98.5% sure, and we're going to dot some I's and T's today, and hopefully early next week we'll be able to share the news on that. So that's kind of what's going on the rest of the year. Next year, we'll tell you next year. I think probably January Fireside Chat is when we can share a lot more of that. Okay, I'm going to take a break. Been talking a lot. I'm going to take a drink of water. And let's do a giveaway, Pelham. Okay, now I apologize. I know most of you in the audience have probably already bought Tomb of Annihilation, but I'm going to say we're going to give away 2 copies of Tomb of Annihilation. And are we doing the iRaffle thing?
Yep.
Okay, can we make it a specific word?
Nope.
It has to be iRaffle?
Exclamation point raffle.
Exclamation point raffle. Okay, so everyone enters in right now, and we'll pick 2 winners to get a copy of... And we'll get 2 winners to get a copy of Tomb of Annihilation. So pop that in there, and I will get a drink of water while you guys fill up the feed. Oh. The one hypnotic, you can abstain because you already have a copy, or you could win it and give it to a new player who always wanted to come into one of the hardest adventures in Death Curse and probably die there. No, that doesn't sound like a good new user experience, does it? Okay, you can abstain. Moobot, anti-spam, command, raffle, regular, region. What is that?
That was me messing up. All right, I've got our first winner, Spoon Love.
Spoon Love. Come to get... No, different Spoon Love. That's Spoon Man.
Spoon Man.
Yeah.
All right, drawing our second winner now. Got Cold Strife.
What is it?
Colstrife.
Coal Strife? Kind of sounds cool. Oh, all right. The one hypnotic did not win, but you did get in. You got a new DM who might want to run the game. Yes, see? Totally. Spoon can. Another... Holly loves that there's a fire. You like our fire, Holly? It's the Fireside Chat. It was by popular demand. We had to do it. We had to. Although someone just called me out and asked why there's no Mind Flayer trophy hanging over the fire. And that's a really good point. We should have done that. And I'm not going to blame this on Pelham. I'm going to blame this on Magic. And that's because we share the studio with Magic. And Magic's been getting a lot more active in doing the Twitch streams as well. So we like to reconfigure this area a lot and make it a little bit more modular. And so they wouldn't let me hang the Mind Flayer. Right now, the Mind Flayer is sitting down on a table next to Gershman's Nespresso machine. So if you go to the wrong one, you're basically putting your hand in the Mind Flayer's mouth instead of getting your cup of coffee. Okay. Yes, I do know you love fire. Raffle's over on there. I took a drink of water. So let's move on to another topic. Let's pick Force Grey videos on YouTube. I never know how much business talk or insider stuff to share with you guys, but I'm going to err on the side of too much because it's kind of the spirit behind having the two-way conversation with community and stuff. We're working really hard. We're working really close with the folks at Twitch and putting a lot of energy, a lot of resources and investment behind trying to make the Twitch D&D channel as awesome as possible. We love that the Twitch channel offers an opportunity to have fireside chats and talk with the community and have a place for people to engage more and watch live D&D and interact and everything. So we're making a really strategic effort to make this the coolest D&D place to watch D&D and get all that stuff on there. So as part of that, and as part of our partnership with Twitch and coming on, we said, hey, you know what? We're gonna put one of our big premiere shows. We're gonna put Forest Grey on Twitch, and we're not gonna spread it out and put it everywhere and blanket the thing. We're gonna put it here as obviously as content that drives people to view and check that out. So that's just a deal and partnership stuff that we made with them and said, hey, we're gonna do this and we're gonna leave it on the Twitch channel for a while, and then we can look at spreading it out to other platforms later. I get the question a lot, like why isn't it on YouTube? Why isn't it spread out later and everything? And the answer that I usually give is that, well, it's we've got the video on demand on Twitch. You can, if you don't like the chat or you can't watch it real time, there it is. However, I understand that right now the video collections and the video on demand on Twitch is probably not as easy to navigate and probably not organized as familiar to you as your YouTube stuff. I've talked to the team and said, hey, what things do you watch on? Why would Twitch be a big deal or not? So this is what I'll say in terms of the Forest Grey on YouTube. Right now, we're not putting them over on YouTube. I'm sure later on we'll end up doing that, whether it's the whole collection or one by one or how we do it. But right now, we've got them on Twitch, and we've got a live stream page on our website that has the Forest Grey, all the episodes embedded there from the Twitch video on demand. So, if you can't catch them live, there's easy ways to catch up on them. And if your real question is just like, look, I love YouTube, it's my favorite player, that's what I'm playing. This is what we're trying for this season of Forest Grey. It's not our end-all be-all strategy. We're trying stuff, we're experimenting, and I'm sure at some point we'll put them up on YouTube. I know it's kind of a very businessy answer, so I don't always like to talk that much behind that kind of thing. But we get the question a lot, and I just wanted to kind of let you know what it is. All right, what else? Grungs. I think a lot of you guys saw the Tortle package that we put up. I think the Tortle package is on D&D Beyond. The Tortle package is on, obviously on Dungeon Masters Guild. Did the Tortle package go up on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds? Do we know? I'll double check on that. I'll put a tweet out about it. But the awesome thing about the Tortles package is, I think Chris Perkins went off and did that on a weekend after doing Tomb of Annihilation because he totally thought it would be awesome. And B, all the proceeds from that are going to our Extra Life charity. So we put that up. It's for sale for $10. It's obviously, more options for your player characters that are kind of non-traditional. And you don't have to use the Tortles, although who doesn't love Tortles? But if for no other reason, it's just a really good cause. So you buy it $10, you get to play with some cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the kids get some money. So it's a win-win. But from Grung, that is the question: should there be a Grung package? Is there a Grung package? And this is what I will say: on our Twitch, Chris Lindsay is running an all Grung game. So if you want more Grung, we have more Grung. Watch that for all of your Grung needs. Secondly, I believe Mr. Lindsay is going to at least make notes or some kind of package available so that you can see what he's doing to run the Grung game. So even if it's not as official and as clean as the Dungeon Master Guild's one, I'm sure you'll have plenty of information there if you want to run a Grung game the way Chris Lindsay's doing. So that's kind of what I'm going to say about the Grung. Also on my list, what else do we got? Dice Camera Action Waffle Crew merch. The short answer on this is, I'm sorry. This is a miss and a fall down on my part. We should have been on the Waffle Crew merch 6 months ago. We're behind, but we're going to play catch up fast. So the answer is yes. We love Dice Camera Action. We love the Waffle Crew. Holly, Jared, Nate, Anna, Chris Perkins, and all the guests on the show are great. I think Chris Perkins is a little mean to them, but they seem to enjoy it, so they're definitely gluttons for punishment. But it's fun. It's funny. The characters are great. I love when they cosplay. I love Holly is Strix. I loved her on the Acquisitions Inc. game up there on that. So yes, so we are going to get on that. You will start seeing. We're a little slow. We're like a big giant ship. You know what I mean? Like we're definitely headed in the right direction, but sometimes it takes us a little longer to maneuver. So you will see merch. I don't want to commit to what yet, but I will tell you that we're super committed to doing a lot more Dice Camera Action stuff. Expect to see way more activation with Waffle Crew next year, as long as their schedules will allow, and then definitely expect to see some merchandise to support that coming up. It's in the plans. We've got designs and stuff going, and yes, I'm sorry that we're late, but better late than never. So that is the answer. Oh, and Gore War said he or she asked that question. So definitely look for that. Anything else related to that? Here's another question that came up. I don't know who asked this one, but they said, are we ever going to do cardboard pawns like Kobold Press? And the cardboard cutouts and the cardboard guys with the little standees and the different things, it's always a rough one. We've done some stuff for events. We did a cool Giants with the Giants in a cardboard cutout with a little stand that would actually fit on a 1x1 grid that would be to scale with your minis, playable for the events and stuff, and that was really cool. And we've got great designers and great creatives on the team, and I know that we could probably do more in this space. But then we also have partners like Gale Force 9 and WizKids who are making miniatures and things to represent the different characters and stuff on the table. And so you don't want to put all this stuff up and make stuff that's so cool that you're like, oh, why would I even buy this? But at the same time, you don't want to be like, well, just buy that because there's no other options. So it's kind of like a delicate balancing. And so what I'll tell you is we'll probably do it from time to time, but it'll probably be very limited and very kind of story driven. It'll probably be things that are outside the campaign, or maybe it'll be for grungs and turtles and stuff. But well, I'm sure we'll do some of it. It's a little lower on our list because there are other options, and we are busy with some other stuff. But we'll definitely look into doing it. Okay, I think those were most of the hard-hitting questions or topics that we got in there. If I missed one, then I'm sorry. Although I'll tell you, I did miss. Someone asked me today, did you watch Critical Role last night? And no, I did not. I know some spoilers, and I will be watching it very soon. Sadly, don't tell my wife or daughter I said that. But I had a parent-teacher thing at my daughter's school last night, so we had a commitment that basically we got home around 9:30, and now I'm realizing I could have watched like the last 4 hours of the show at that time. But I didn't want to jump in the middle. So I know some of the stuff that went on in Critical Role. I know it was epic. I know that they were up till like wee hours of the morning, and how Ashley is getting up and going to work today, I have no idea. But I did not watch it. So let's just hold the water cooler talk to a minimum until Monday, and then I promise I'll be caught up and up to speed. Okay. Other questions I got that I'm going to call non-hard-hitting questions. One, what's my favorite class, adventure, setting? So really, I think you're asking me about my D&D preferences. I don't know. We've never played together, have we, Pelham? Typically I play a rogue. Typically I play a rogue assassin. I usually play a sneaky, stabby guy. I like to role play. I like to talk. I like to do stuff. I don't necessarily have to be a big damage dealer. I also don't ever introduce my character as a rogue assassin because I think that is completely ridiculous. No assassin that I know ever would tell you they're an assassin. No CIA operative that I know has ever admitted to me that they're a CIA operative. So I have a cover story. And my character's cover story is that he is a pastry chef. His name is Ganache. For those of you who are not familiar with that term, ganache is a really rich, sweet chocolate where you take a fantastic chocolate and then you mix it with cream and butter and sugar, I think, or maybe it's just cream and sugar. But basically, you take chocolate and then make it sweeter and richer, and you have this sauce called ganache. So that's his name. Obviously not his real name, but I'm not going to tell anyone his real name because that again defeats the purpose. But I usually play, that's my go-to guy. I have another couple characters in my stable that are related to him that are in the rogue, secret, stabby kind of thing. But generally, that's what I play there. My first character ever in D&D was just a fighter. And I think I did that because I was coming in with my cousins. I was young. And I'd like to say that it's because of complexity or easiness or because of strength. But I think it's because at the time, I think I was drawing a lot, and I could do okay with the armor and the arms and the legs and everything, but I was just really bad with faces. And so Flint was his name, and I just put a helm on Flint so that his face was covered up. So I have no idea if I ever drew his face, but I think that I drew the picture first and then built the character, and he was a fighter. But now I usually go with the more sneaky, stabby, hide in the shadows, sneak attacks, stealth, sleight of hand. One of my favorite things to do is pickpocket people in the group if I'm getting bored. I usually like to pass notes to the DM on that so that it's not so obvious. And I got to play with Girls Guts Glory a couple weeks ago, and Rowan really was picking on me. And so I started just putting rocks in her backpack when she wasn't looking. So I used the reverse sleight of hand and just started filling up her little gnome backpack until there were so many rocks in there. The DM started making her roll for the Constitution saves, I think. And it was so funny because I rolled like 7 ones in that game, but never on a sleight of hand roll when I was sneaking rocks into her bag. So that's one of my favorite things about playing the characters like that, is that the stories and the stuff that comes out of it might not be I shot a guy with an arrow and killed him. Settings, I love the Forgotten Realms. I love the diversity. I love the geography of it. There's so many different things you can do with it. It's also just the setting that I've played in the most. Other than that, it's been a lot of homebrew stuff, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what it came from. So that's kind of where it is. And then on adventures, and I know I'm going to sound like a corporate shill when I say this, but honestly, Tomb of Annihilation is my favorite adventure ever. It's got so many cool things in there, from Tomb of Horrors that kind of give you PTSD flashbacks. It's got so many fun elements. I love the side quests on it. I love the different areas and settings. I love that you can be in Port Nyanzaru and in this very populated Chult, but it feels very different, and then be in the jungles and super deadly and those damn flying monkeys. And then going into a very kind of classic dungeon crawl, like I said, that feels very reminiscent of Tomb of Horrors, but is totally different. So that's my favorite. I know it's a cop-out because it's our latest adventure, and probably if you ask me next year at this time, it'll probably be whatever the new adventure is. But I love what we're working on. I love the stuff. I think the team's doing an amazing job. I think every time they do it better. So yeah, that's what I'm going to answer. No, grave mistake. No, the flying monkeys suck. Okay, so we're in a group, and my guy's neutral, and he plays very neutral. And I don't know what was going on, and they were kind of dinking around, and it's going really slow, and nothing was moving. And there were these monkeys looking at us up there, and they weren't doing anything, but they were looking at us. But it felt like it was like this ominous looking at us, like that maybe they were, like some wizard was like looking through them and whatnot. So I just casually fired an arrow up at one of them. Next thing you know, I've got like 7 monkeys attacking me. And I mean, the monkey bites, they're coming in at just like these D4s, but I think I had to make saving throws against poison. And so like, I almost got taken down like by a pack of flying monkeys just because I was bored and shot one with an arrow. So no, fuck the monkeys. Okay. Yeah, they says, hi, I run the business side of things. Oh, we do need a Chris Perkins thing. Okay, so one of the other questions I got was my favorite non-D&D RPG. Again, I'm the brand guy. I'm the head of Dungeons and Dragons. I can't tell you like, oh, this is my favorite one besides D&D. D&D is my favorite. But if I had to answer that, I just like expand on that more. Besides tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, I'm really a lot more of a video game player. I've worked in video games my whole life until I came to the D&D team, and I've just played a ton of console games, especially, and I've played almost all the console games or almost all the RPGs that have been on Xbox. And Elder Scrolls is my favorite kind of RPG outside of Dungeons and Dragons. And I know it's a computer RPG or digital RPG, whatever you want to call it, instead of a regular one. But I mean, even back in the old days in the late 90s playing Daggerfall, or whether it was Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim. So I've played almost all of those. I don't play a lot of the online RPGs, so I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online or anything. But that's like one of my big favorite RPG franchises outside of D&D. But it's not pencil and paper. And then if you were going to push me on a pencil and paper one, it's kind of a cop-out answer too, because my favorite one back when I was playing a lot more, and when I first got into the dice and paper pencil RPG stuff, was Star Frontier. But I think that was another TSR one, and I think it was I liked it because it kind of was like D&D, except for I got to have, I think my guy's trade was like a mechanic. I ended up playing human just because I think I was min-maxing a little. And again, I think I drew the picture before I made the character. So, in my mind, it was kind of like Dungeons and Dragons crossed with the video game Space Ace, and I was playing that and enjoying that. But at the time, I was also still playing a lot of Commodore 64 RPGs, and I think I just got into the part in Wasteland where there was like nuns with plasma cannons, so it was kind of this like sci-fi mixed with the fantasy RPG stuff. So I think it was just kind of the flavor. But like I've tried some of the newer stuff, the Fantasy Flight games, Star Wars RPG. I got that book and read through it and tried to play that a little bit. But I don't really play any other RPGs besides Dungeons and Dragons, unless it's unless it's a video game, and then pretty much I'll try them all. I've worked on franchises like Dark Souls. When I was at Xbox when Oblivion was first coming out, so I worked really closely with Todd Howard and Pete Hines at Bethesda, and helping them launch that on Xbox. So I mean, I've definitely been a part of different game franchises and been kind of behind the scenes on them and stuff. But I just don't play a lot of paper stuff besides D&D. And right now I've been getting a lot more D&D in lately. So if I had an extra 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a week, I just want to pop in another D&D game. I'm going to get in one this weekend, which is awesome. And then if I'm not playing D&D and we're playing just board games, and I was going to tell you kind of my favorite board games, obviously it's Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. But all joking aside, the Betrayal House on the Hill, that's one of my favorite board games because I like cooperative gaming. I like storytelling. I like it when it's just not as simple as, just we're all kind of racing to the end. So that's definitely one of my favorites. But if I go non-Wizards, non-Avalon Hill, non-D&D, we play a lot of board games as a family in my house. So Dixit is one that we play, kind of a nice, fun storytelling. Love Letters I like. There's if it's just me and my buddy Trent, we'll play more kind of like 5 or 10 minute head-to-head games. So he got me interested in a tile game. I think it's called The Hive, where it's like 5-minute head-to-head. We also, as a family, we've clocked a ton of Pandemic, and then obviously if it's a big group of family and we're at Thanksgiving or together doing kind of the brother-sister catch-up and stuff, sometimes play Cards Against Humanity or other ones like that. But really, I mean, our board game closet is, pretty average. We got 40 or 50 board games in there. We buy my daughter, board games a lot and try kids ones, family ones. I've got a friend who's like a board game nut and probably has like 1,000 board games, and so whatever he's playing, we'll pop in and play. But I like cooperative storytelling. I mean, that's why Dungeons and Dragons is my favorite activities. So, kind of no surprise that's where I would go in my board games too. The other one, I forget what it's called. I think it's called maybe it's just Escape. But I bought this one. It got kickstarted, and it's like a tile room where you're building out the rooms, and each room has different dice combos that you need to roll to unlock the challenge in that room and move on. And you can play cooperatively, but you can spread out and do different rooms. But then some of the rooms are obviously really hard if you're not helping each other. And it's on a timer, and it's on a music soundtrack timer, and so it really creates this suspenseful moment. So that's actually a really fun one too. But again, it's another cooperative game. So that's just kind of where my taste buds go. All right. Oh, nice. Okay, so what else is going on? That's kind of the questions that I got popping up. So you guys, we got about 14 minutes. I want to be a little respectful of time because I believe that we have one of our partners coming on at noon, so I don't want to eat past there. We also have only done one giveaway, so I feel like we should do another one on there. So how about this? How about everybody I'll take like 2 more topics. So right now, if everyone wants to put topics into the hopper here, I'll pick 2 that I can talk about, and after I've seen some topics come in the little tray, then Pelham will open up the raffle and we will do sticker packs. We'll do the awesome Tomb of Annihilation monster stickers that Emmy did that are awesome. And crap, Pelham, that reminds me. Joe saw some of the stickers and asked, do we have cool T-Rex Tomb of Annihilation stickers? And I forgot we need to send him some. So we'll do the giveaway sticker packs. We'll give those stickers and then just some of the general D&D cool stickers that we have. And we'll do like 5 different people get sticker packs. But first, let's get a couple of questions in here. All right, Greg Tito says we do have stickers for Joe. Okay, cool. Do you have stickers of Joe stealing anything from the Critical Role cast last night? Do you have stickers of Travis and him not being best friends and Jock Machina brothers anymore? Actually, your questions are making me think of one more topic that came up, so I'll answer a couple in there. All right, we're going to open it up, ladies and gentlemen. So, 5 sticker packs. It'll be fun, be a variety, but the Tomb of Annihilation, awesome monster stickers will be in there. So 5 right now, and then I will go in and do that. And for In Kanunam, I probably said that wrong. We'll do hats and shirts next time. Okay, so while you guys are entering that in, a couple of the questions came up, and I will pick one of the easy ones, which said, favorite NPCs from Tomb of Annihilation. And I will tell you that I loved all of the guides. I thought the guides were fun. We spent a lot of time talking to them, kind of trying to figure out their deal, and kind of like min-maxing, trying to figure out what would be the best way. I forgot who the halfling and the shady dude were, who basically had a dinosaur, but like we almost went with them because they had the dinosaur, and we thought it'd be cool to have a dinosaur. But we ultimately went with this woman, and I forgot what she was, but she was basically a magical creature, a tall bird with fantastic feathers and colors, serpentine-like bird with feathers and whatnot. I forgot her name. She was my favorite, but I think just because like the bulk of the adventure, that is who we picked for our guide, and so we're kind of attached to her. But I think that Flask and Riverwine are 2 of my favorites just because they're tabaxi and they're funny, and I think that it's just a fun commentary in terms of the way they do it. So the guides were really the the NPCs that I loved. I love the dinosaur racing. I love the idea of having dinosaurs with painted stripes on it. So we didn't go over and spend much time over in that part of it, but I've read through it. But I think it'd be cool to spend more time with the NPCs as it relates to the dinosaur races and stuff. And that would have been the other area that I wanted to kind of get into a little more. I think it was Iku. Sparts 324. I think that's right. I think she was Iku. Okay, so then another question that we got, is there any D&D merch coming besides DCA? There is a ton. There's a dinosaur size poop ton, whatever the, I don't know whether that's a metric ton, I don't know. We have a lot of different merch coming out. We just released some screenshots, and I think it just went live that Han Cholo was doing some jewelry that just came out, and then you've seen different shirts, different hats. You've seen Greg Tito rocking the 80s blazers or windjammers. What do you call them? Not windjammers. Windbreakers, yeah. Stuff. But I will tell you that I have seen so many different pieces of merch down on Hillary's desk that I don't even remember what's out, what's not out, what's coming soon. But I will tell you that 2017, the rest of the year, 2018, seeing a bunch of merch, and we're trying to even find more ways to get merch available for you guys. So the short answer on the merch is yes, 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 definitely more cool merch. So that's that. Another question that came up that reminded me of one was any possibility of an official sci-fi expansion for D&D 5e, and they put Spelljammers in the quotations, parentheses, whatever. And I will say I don't think you're going to see anything really soon when it comes to sci-fi fantasy settings from the official D&D. That's not going to say I'm going to rule it out altogether. I'm just saying that it's not in the short term official stuff coming out. And a related question to that is, hey, are you guys going to be traveling east in Faerun? Are you bringing on other settings? Those are the ones we get all the time. I will tell you, we're looking at all of it. Definitely we'll be traveling to other parts outside the Sword Coast, but it probably won't be kind of as fast as you want. We're taking our time. We're really exploring, really not moving big geographically or big time-wise too fast, because there's just a lot of stories to be told in these areas, and we haven't really explored this dense area that is the Sword Coast as much as it feels like we have, and so we're going a little slower than some of you would probably like on it, but a lot of you, it's kind of the perfect pace, and for us, we really want to get some really deep, meaningful stories and get some great characters introduced there, so yes, we're going to be moving to other areas in Faerun. Yes, we're going to be moving east in Faerun, but it probably won't be quick enough for the person who asked the question and for some of you guys. But yes, I promise you it's happening, but we're trying to be very deliberate, very detailed, really making sure that we put the work there so that it's really a great experience for you. But the answer is yes, and we've got exciting stuff planned. John Castle asked if there's any Magic D&D crossovers planned. I'm assuming that this is my buddy John Castle, and I will answer your question with, have you not been downloading the Plane Shift? I think last week, or maybe even this week on Dragon Plus, or maybe it was D&D News, or was it Dragon Plus? Yeah, we had Chris Tulloch and James Wyatt. So we've been putting up PDFs that have the magic settings and kind of how you bring those into your D&D world. So that's a fun option, non-Faerun option, gives you a little chance too. So if you were softballing that up to me, then thanks, John. And then what was I going to say? I had one more question on here that I wanted to answer before we... Right, sorry, hang on. The raffle filled up my feed. Oh, someone asked, will we do another Yawning Portal with other old adventures? I love the Yawning Portal. I love the concept of taking the older adventures and bringing them into 5e, doing them in a very real, true, conversion thing, and not the same as we do the Big Adventures 4. So again, the answer is always going to be probably not as quick as you want them, but I promise you that on the long-term roadmap, we loved Yawning Portal. think it was super successful. Definitely have plans for more Yannick Portal products. Going to try and give you guys some surprises in there. And when I say that, you're going to pontificate this, that, and the other. And I promise you, we know what you think I mean by surprises, and we're going to even try and surprise you from there. But the short answer is, yeah, I mean, finding the older adventures, doing the really nice conversions, getting some new art, and doing the Yannick Portal stuff. That is definitely on the roadmap. We've definitely got more products down the line in that category and in that the Yannick Portal vein. Again, probably not as fast as you want it, and I apologize that we're taking the time, but we're just trying to make sure that we're taking as much time as we need to do everything awesome and right. You guys are great fans. You deserve the best products we can put out here, and I apologize that sometimes that means it's a little slower, but yeah, totally. All right. Okay, well, I will look, and I found one last question. I don't know, I think that Hillary or Liz are going to get mad at me if I answer this one, but someone just said, so this is Tolwyn, just finished reading the whole Legend of Drizzt series so that I can familiarize myself more with the Forgotten Realms lore. Are there any plans for coming out with new novels or more lore-focused books similar to Sword Coast? And I'm assuming you mean Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. And the answer is we have some exciting news in the hopper, and I don't know whether it's going to be by the end of this year, but we're going to try and see the best time to get it. But we are working behind the scenes on some cool stuff when it comes to lore, when it comes to giving you stuff to familiarize yourself. So we've got some surprises in there. And definitely when it comes for fiction and lore-focused to support the world and the storytelling and everything, yes, the answer is yes. We're totally working on some cool announcements there, and I can't spoil them yet, but I promise you that they're exciting and you're going to love them because I think we are doing some cool stuff, and I know that you guys have been patient with us, and I know that it's been a little frustrating because we've changed a little bit how we bring that out and what kind of formats, but we definitely are working, and I think 2018 should prove very exciting for a lot of different non-RPG type of reading and lore that will really help gamers and people who want to get into the fiction more and just the storytelling. So, with that being said, I don't know. I feel like this was a good one. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. I appreciate the people who sent over topics and questions beforehand. I really appreciate Tom George lending us the fireplace for this so that we can be a true fireside chat. And I will try and work on the jacket. I know this is not quite smoking jacket. It was all I had in my closet. And then next time we'll go for a snifter of brandy and some pipe action going on here or something. I feel like that'll totally do it. And until then, you can reach me on at Nathan B. Stewart on Twitter. I love interacting. If you guys do follow me, I post a lot of pictures. I try to spoil things for Greg and Trevor to keep them on their toes. I like to get in internet fights with Mike Merrills because, well, he's fun to pick on. So yeah, if you want to reach out, totally reach out, and that'd be great. And if not, and you guys are too busy playing Betrayal at Baldur's Gate and Tomb of Annihilation, then awesome. And I'll see you guys on the Twitch on the live stream for the next Fireside. We do them first Fridays, so November is the next time. And until then, have fun. And I think we're over and out, right?